Okay, so we're now recording. All right, so as I said, we're going to take up the sheet that we were playing around with, or that I gave to you guys in that email. All right, so we're converting the following to decimal feet. So the first one they have there is, they have it written like this: 36 feet. And again, this is just how I put the dash there just to help me out. 4 1/4 inches. Does anybody want to maybe tell me what they got into a decimal foot?
I'll shoot at the first one.
Sure.
36.3541667.
I would have taken it right after the 416. You got it perfect. So that was good, Mike. So right away you know that the 36 feet is the whole feet. That's going to be the start of our decimal foot, right? So I'm going to just throw that down for now. 36, and everything after that is point something and something and something. So the first thing I'm going to do is take care of that fraction. And remember, 1/4 is 0.25, right? So essentially, this inch becomes 4.25 inches. But remember, we've got to turn that inches into feet. So inches to feet, if you remember, there we go. Inches to feet, we divide by 12. Feet to inches, we multiply by 12. Right? So I'm going to inches to feet, 4.25 divided by 12, and we get 0.35416, continuing. But that's now the decimal foot. And we just bring that back up and add it onto the whole. Right? So 36.35416. Whoops. The one's in there somewhere. Right? Decimal feet. Because again, being able to change the feet and inches into decimals is a lot easier to calculate versus trying to deal with fractions. Again, unless you have a construction master calculator that actually does fractions. All right, good. So Mike, you got that one. That's good. Did anybody get something different? Or is everybody feeling pretty good? Oh yeah, I want to put that chat bubble up. All right. Hold on. Oh, what's Tony saying here? It's okay. 12 hours. Figured you could do it if you want. Yes, thank you, sir. All right. So the next one was written like this. I'm going to try and keep it a little bit smaller. 18 feet, 1 3/8 inches. Does anybody want to tell me what they got for that one? What do you think, Mike? You seem to be a nice vocal one tonight. No one else wants to chime in?
I got 18.114583 continuous.
Perfect. Yep, and that's what I got too. So again, we're going to take that whole, because that's not going to change. So I'm just going to throw that in there, throw my decimal. So now we're dealing with this one. We got to change that first into a decimal inch, right? So essentially we're going to write that as 1.3 divided by 8 is 0.375 inches. So we're now into a decimal inch. But again, remember, inches to decimals, or sorry, inches to feet, we divide by 12 to get 1.3 0.6375 divided by 12. We get 0.114583, and I'm going to stop it there, decimal feet. Again, we just bring these two together. 114,583 feet. All right. Sounds like we're doing pretty good so far. Number 3. What'd you get for number 3? And that one was 48 feet, 11 and 9/16 inches. So here's what I got. I got 48.9635416, and we'll go through. I'll show you how I did it again, right? Because again, 48s are full, and now we're just dealing with this one here. So essentially, 11 and 9/16 inches is 11. 9 divided by 16 gives us 0.5625 inches. Inches to feet, we divide by 12 to get, divide by 12, I got 0.9635416, and that's where I'll end it. And again, we just bring these ones together. 9, 6, 3, 5, 4, 416 decimal feet. Good. So far, so good. Ooh, how about, I'm going to skip number 4 because you guys are, it seems like you got a handle on it pretty well. So that one was number 1. That one was number 2. That one was number 3. Let's try number 5. Number 5 had 0 feet, 0 feet, 7 and 5/8.
Yeah.
All right. So that into a decimal foot. Well, 0 feet, whole feet to start with. So I'm just going to throw that 0 there. Because everything else is going to continue on from there, right? So now, we're going to deal with this one here. So essentially,
0.635.
Is that your whole, sorry, yes. The final answer, 0.635416. Yeah.
Yeah, I just stopped. I think they told us to stop at 3, but it's for metric feet. It's
Yeah.
or decimal feet. Sorry.
Sometimes, they'll get you going longer. We were told sometimes to keep it going to about, usually accuracy, we were told somewhere in and around the 4, like 4 numbers.
Yeah.
I was playing something today for our lesson later that, I'll talk to you about it when we get to it. But so 7 and 5/8 of an inch. This is what it is in decimal inches, right? Because 5 divided by 8 got me the 0.625, and that's inches. Again, inches into feet. We divide by 12. And we get the 0.635416, right? And we just bring that up there, but basically that's what it is right there.
Yep.
Good. Because we already...
That's like millwright stuff right there to the 4.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right. But a little easier to calculate that than trying to deal with all of that. Right? But again, if you were adding some of this stuff up, right? We'd want to try and that's the thing too, is to remember, if you're adding feet and inches, they can't be feet. How do I explain this? I might have to wait and reorganize my brain for that one. Because again, like I said, I'm having one of those days. I'm having a hard time articulating what's in my head. Maybe I'll have to wait to break to explain that. Yeah, I'm having a hard time today. Ooh. How did that work out? Ooh, okay. So I'm going to skip down to number 7. Because I just looked at this one real quick and wondered what the hell was going on. So without writing the 0 in front, they just have this written as 50 3/4 inches. Right? So it's going to essentially end up, right? We got to take it into our decimal feet. Right? So let's see what we got here. Oh, okay, because yeah, that's going to be over 4 feet, I think, there. So 50. What did anybody get for that one? 50.75.
50.0625.
Okay, so 50.065. Okay, so what's happening with this one, Mike, is because this 50 inches, right, this is at least over 4 feet, right? So if I was to turn this into 50.75 inches, right, and then 50.75, because I got to do inches into feet, divide that by 12, right? So again, divide it by 12. Now what do you get, Mike? Divide by 12.
Sure. What did I get? 0.0625.
Okay, so I'll show you what I'm doing for that one, hon.
No, hold on.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's what I got, yeah.
Okay.
I probably did it wrong, obviously.
No worries. We'll work out what happened there. So I turn it. This one's essentially like kind of writing this way.
Right.
No, it's not. Right, because it is a little bigger than, because we've got multiple feet in here. But I'm taking my inches and turning them into decimal inches. So 50 3/4 is 50.75 inches. Are you following me so far?
Correct.
Okay. So now I want to take that inches and turn it into feet or decimal feet. So it's just a matter of 50.75 divided by 12. And you should actually end up with 4 feet, 4.22916, repeating. And the reason being, if you just looked at 50 inches on its own, hold on a sec, 50 inches on its own, remember inches to feet, we divide by 12. Right? And 50 divided by 12, you get, actually, here, let me make it a little simpler for you for a sec. Let me give you something fully even. Oh, Alexa, stop! Okay, so 50 is just over 4 feet. So what if I did this then? 48 inches. Turn that into feet. Right, by dividing it by 12, that's when you get your 4 feet. Right, so essentially, 50, we're over a little bit more. Hold on one sec, someone's in the waiting room here, or in the lobby. Max. Have I screwed you up, Mike?
I'm just, I thought you would take the 50 3/4, so we would do 3 divided by 4. That's how I started it off.
Okay. And you would have got
And then
0.75.
Correct.
Yep.
And then I took the 50 plus the 0.06. Why did I get that?
Yeah, there you go. That's your You came up with another number. Dude, I ended up doing something earlier today, playing around with something that I typed in the wrong number, and the answer, I was like, wait a minute, no, that's not right.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So it sounded like you're on the right track there for a second, because yeah, you're right. 3 divided by 4, you would have got 0.75. That's the decimal of the inch. 50 was the whole inch.
Correct.
So 50.75 inches divided by 12, right? And again, I just threw this here for shits and giggles for something, right? So, and then yeah, 50.75 divided by 12, you get 4.22916. So essentially this could be written, instead of 50 inches and 3/4, hold on a sec. Everybody's coming in a little late today. It's okay, guys, that you're coming in a little late. You're here, and I started recording anyway, so.
Hey, sorry, I've been trying to get in. I've been trying to get in, but it's saying it's not supported.
I was expecting that, Poku. It's because I sent one out and then I canceled it because something. What's that?
I said that's where I screwed up. My God.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah, I don't know what I was pushing in there.
So this could also be written if we turned this back into a full mixed fraction. This decimal foot could then be written like this. 4 whole feet, okay, I know that. So now I want this 0.22916 into inches and fractions. So this is a foot, right? So essentially what I'm going to do is punch in 0.22916, and now I'm going feet to inches. So now remember, I'm going to multiply this time by 12, right? And if you see on my calculator here, right, 22916, 0.22916 times 12, right? I get 2.74992. Well, 2 is my full inches. I'm going to throw that down here, 2 full inches, and now I want to get the decimals here. And instead of clearing that out, I'm just going to go like this. I'm going to get rid of the whole number, minus 2. I'm left with the fraction, right? And from here, just because we already know it's going to be quarters, I'm just going to go with it, right? Let's see what happens. Or I can go with 8s or 16s. Let me see what...
Sorry to interrupt again. I can't see the screen.
Oh, you know why? Because you came in late and I got to
Okay, I
share
can
it.
hear it then.
Okay, hold
I'll
on one
just stay on
sec.
this one.
Yep.
Yeah, no worries. I'll just stay on this one.
I multiplied by 16 for a moment, right? Essentially, it gives me 12. So I can say 12 over 16, but I know that can come down, and that's where I'm also going to get my 3/4. Right? So let me write that out. 4 feet, oops. 2 full inches, and this is coming down to our lowest terms. Did that make sense, or did I lose anybody there? 0.22916 times 12 minus 2.
How come you times it by 12?
Which one? Which one, Mike? This one here?
Yeah.
Because anytime that we're going, and it was just to show you how we could have wrote this inches as feet. So if you remember back here, right, when we say if we want to turn inches into feet, we divide it by 12. We're taking a big number, bringing it down to a smaller number.
Right, yeah.
When we're going feet into inches, we're taking a small number and making it bigger. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to pause for...
Feet, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, so 12 inches equals 1 foot, 24 inches equals 2 feet, 36 inches is 3 feet, 48 is 4 feet, right? And if we went 5 feet, so 5 times 12 is 60 inches, is 5 feet, and so on and so forth, right? When you're dealing with feet and inches, we're bouncing around with the number 12. Right? Because again, inches is usually the bigger number, right? 48 inches versus 4 feet.
Right.
Okay. Let's see what other one we got here that might help out. Let me try. Okay, so here's another one, Mike, that's kind of similar to that one we just did.
Number 10.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's the one I'm looking at. Good, so you picked up on that. So that's good. So number 10 reads like this. It's all in inches, and they have 38 inches and 3/8. All right, now we're changing inches into decimal feet. All right, so first thing, I'm going to actually change this into decimal inches. So 38 point, and again, I'm going to do my 3 divided by 8 gets us 0.375. Oh, Carrie, you're a tool. I said the number but didn't write it. Okay? So that's our inches in decimal inches. Still in inches. Now I got to convert my inches into decimal feet. All right? So I'm just going to add that 38 inches onto there. So 38.375, 38.375. These are inches, and I'm changing inches into feet. So remember, divide. Inches to feet is divide. So 38.375 divided by 12, it's bringing us down to a smaller number. 3.197916. So that's essentially our decimal feet, right? You see that there? So I can write 3.197916 feet. That's my decimal feet. I'll wait till you catch there. So how are you feeling about that so far, Mike?
Yeah.
So far, so good?
So far, so good, yeah.
Okay, so that's in our decimal feet. But say I wanted to turn this back into a mixed fraction. So instead of in inches, I want to know what it is in feet, inches, and fraction of an inch. Well, because this value is in feet already, my whole foot is right there, the 3. So I'm going to drop that down, 3 feet, and now I got to find this in inches and fractions. Okay, I still have that in my calculator right now. I'll wait till you look there, hon. So I'm just going to show you how I do this in my calculator. Because I'll be honest, there's no way I'm doing all this in long division.
Yeah, that's what I got, yeah.
Okay, cool. So, because I know the 3 is my full feet, I'm going to just take it out of my calculator. Minus 3. It just got rid of the whole, so I'm left with that decimal, right? The same thing right there. Instead of just having to type it back in, I just got rid of the whole number. Now, I need to find what this is in inches and a fraction of an inch. So this is still a decimal of a foot. So now feet to inches times 12. There's my full inches. And this is going to be a fraction. So I'm going to drop down my full 2 right there. And just to save me some time, I'm going to just minus it out. So I'm just left with my... Did I do something wrong there? Oh, I know what just happened. Hold on one sec. Give me a second. Sorry. 3.197916. Oh, yeah. Times 12. 2.37. Oh, that's weird. Minus the 2. Yeah, so then from here, right, that was what I was left in my calculator. That's the fraction. And I can either times it by 16, because that's pretty much my lowest on my tape measure, or I can times it by 8 and see what happens. Times 8, so that is going to be my denominator, and equals 2.9, which is essentially 3. Right, rounds up to 3, right? I typed in 8 because that's what the denominator I'm going to use. Calculator says 3, right? So 38 3/8 inches. If I turn it into a mixed fraction, it's 3 feet, 2 3/8 inches, or I turn it into a decimal foot, 3.197916 feet. Feeling okay?
Yep.
Okay. Just slightly screwed up a bit.
Just, yeah, on those two, they threw me off there, yep.
Yeah. Because, yeah, they were large number inches. I'm actually kind of happy they threw those in there, to be honest.
Yeah, caught me off guard there.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah, absolutely it is. All right. Let's see the next side. So the other one, first one, we were essentially taking these and we wanted answers like this. Right? I was kind of just taking it a step forward, but this was what we wanted as answers. Then on the second sheet, right, we're
Terry, before you go on to the next question, you see the one that you said you were just doing it for like extra, so after the box, yeah, this one.
Yeah.
How would you say that? 3 feet 2 inches and what?
I would read that as 3 feet 2 3/8 inches.
2 3/8 inches. Okay.
Yeah. So essentially,
so you would add the 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, now I don't have the full thing here, so I can't show you the 3 feet, but I can show you the 2 3/8. Right. Right. The 2 3/8. Each one of these is an eighth. 1, 2, 3.
2, 3.
And that would be your 3/8 right there. 2 3/8.
Okay.
So 3 feet plus 2 3/8.
3/8. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I'll see if I can find my tape measure when we go on break. But I can show you how we would read that. And I'll show you how most tape measures will show you it in both the inches and the feet. Right? So you can read this on a tape measure and you can read this on a tape measure. I can't read this on a tape measure and I can't read this on a tape measure.
Yeah, because it's too much numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have tape measures that are in decimal, inches, and fractions.
Yeah.
Right? These right here are easier to calculate, right? But these are what we needed to see it and read it on a tape.
And that's what's going to be on the job.
Yes, but this is, and honestly, this is another one where it takes me a minute or two because I can automatically do this bouncing around between the inches, fractions, feet, and all that. My hands do it very quick because I can convert it to something I can put in my calculator, but then I quickly put it back to something that I can transfer and read on my tape. Because I can't holler out to somebody, like, what would you do to me if we were building something and I said, hey, Poku, go and cut me something at 3.197916 feet. You'd throw something at me. And rightfully so. Same idea, I wouldn't tell you, go cut me something at 38.375 inches. Yeah, you're going to think I'm nuts. So I have to turn this into a language that is compatible with a tape measure.
Okay, thanks.
Does that kind of clarify?
Yeah, that makes more sense to me.
Okay, good. Right? Did I screw anybody up by adding all that stuff in? No? Okay. That's, I guess no sign is a good sign. All right, I'm going to pause this for a quick... Yep. I'm going to pause this for a quick...
I said, yeah, no sign is a good sign.
Yeah, exactly. If nobody said, I'm lost, then I think we're okay. All right, I'm going to pause this for a quick sec while I change... Okay, beautiful. There we go. All right, so the first one they have written here, we'll start with that one. So they have 11.9681 feet. And I have to put that into feet, inches, and fractions. So I know right away that I have a whole foot right here, a whole set of feet. So I can put that right here. So 11 feet. And now I want to find this in inches and fractions of an inch. So essentially what I'm doing now is 0.9681 feet. I'm going feet to inches, so I'm going to multiply by 12. Okay. So I'm going to toss that in there. Point.
And 12 is the only number because it represents a foot, right?
That's exactly it. That's why that's exactly why we use the 12 for this.
Okay.
Yep, because it correlates to a foot. So I'm typing in 0.9681. I'm going into feet, so I'm going to times it by 12. So now I get 11.617, right? So this 11 is my full inches.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to plop that in there for a moment. And like I said, just to save myself time, I'm just going to subtract out the full number. So minus 11. And I'm just left with the 6172. But I got to find that into a fraction. So again, one of the smallest ones we tend to deal with is 16ths, or you can go with 8ths, right? I'm going to choose 8. Everybody cool with that? So meaning I'm choosing 8, so I'm already saying my denominator of my fraction is going to be 8. So 0.6172 times 8 equals 4.9376. 4.9 is essentially 5. Do you get that?
Yep.
And that 5 is what goes over top of that 8. Okay. So this means that 11.9681 feet is actually 11 feet, 11 inches, and 5/8. So again, yep, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Oh, okay, cool. So, but you guys understand, like, yeah, I can't read this out to somebody and tell you, go cut me this. This, I can tell you, go cut me that. Right? So that's why we do this converting back and forth. Something to calculate and something to read on a tape measure. Let's try. Booby-dooby-doo. Ooh. Let me try one more of the, and then I'm going to go to number 5. Let's try, I'm going to do number 4 first. Are you okay, though, that I'm skipping a couple of them?
Yep.
Okay, good. Just trying to get to some of the ones that might have posed a problem. So number 4 read like this. 28.0638 feet. This is my whole feet to start with. So I know it's going to be 28 feet and something else. Right, so I'm just going to throw that 28 feet down. And now I'm going after my inches. The fact that we already have a 0 here tells me that I don't even have a full inch. But let's deal with it the way it is. 0.0638 feet. Remember, feet to inches, we multiply by 12. Okay, so 0.0638 times 12, right? We get 0 inches, 0.7656 inches. Right? So this 0 is telling me, like I said, I knew I wasn't going to have a full inch. So 0 inches, and now I have to turn this into a fraction. All right. Again, we can choose something like a 16th or an 8th. I'm going to go with 8th just for shits and giggles, even though I know it's going to convert down. But that times 8, so that's going to become my denominator. All right, let me throw this down here for a sec. And I get 6.12, so essentially 6 over 8, but I knew that wasn't going to be the end of it. 6/8 can come down to 3/4. All right, so essentially, this is what we got. Sorry, that was a weird way of writing it. The lighting's a little odd today. All right, so 28.0638 feet. To read that on a tape measure, 28 feet and 3/4 of an inch. Right, and again, I know this doesn't have my large feet, but 28 feet and 3/4 of an inch. Right, so like I said, not even a full inch. 28 feet and then 3/4 of an inch. Okay. Did we do okay there?
Yep.
Good. All right, let me try. What's another one that looked kind of funky? Ooh, this is the one I want to try. Number 6. So number 6 was written like this: 0.0125 decimal feet. All right? So it's not a full foot, and I know it's not going to be a full inch. Okay, so right off the hop, I'm just going to throw that 0 feet. I already know it's going to be 0 inches, but we'll play this out. Okay, so again, feet to inches, we're going to times by 12. So 0.0125 times 12. Again, like I said, I knew it wasn't going to be any full inches, so I'll throw that in there. So 0 inches. And now I've got to convert 1/5 into a fraction. I'm gonna go with the eighths again. All right, so 1.15.
So what's the difference between if you go with the eighth and the 16? Because the 16's more.
16th is a smaller fraction, and I can start with the 16ths. Like each one of these small ticks is a 16th, right? So if you think
you'd rather just go bigger.
Yeah, it kind of just it's a little bit easier sometimes, but I can do it with the 16ths. Let's try that.
No. I just wanted to know.
Oh, okay.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to know. You don't have to do that. I just want to know.
But you understand what I'm saying there?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
16 is a smaller measurement, right?
Yes, right? So just like out of this inch here that they're showing you, if I'm going in halves or twos, right? I'm splitting it in half. 1/2,
Yes.
2/2.
2 halves. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
quarters, I've split this inch into 4 sections. 1 section, 2 section, 3 section, 4 section. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eighths, we're breaking it down into 8 sections.
Eighths.
Yep.
And then the 16th will be even smaller, so.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right? So I still have that 0.15 in my calculator. I'm going to multiply it by 8. Right? So 8's going to be my denominator because that's the one I chose. And it's 1.2. So it's essentially 1/8. But that 0.15, let's try that with the 16th. So if I didn't want to use the eighth and I went right for the smallest fraction times the 16th, I get 2.4. So it's still the 2/16.
Yep.
And that's where we say, oh, I can make that a little lower. 2 goes into itself once, 2 goes into 16, 8 times. It's just by trying to choose, and this is something that just starts to come second nature for you. And that's why, Poku, when you point stuff like that out to me, it helps me pull it back and explain it a little bit more.
Okay.
I
Sounds good.
try and go for the one that is going to be the easier one to read on the tape measure.
Yeah.
Right?
Makes sense.
Because sometimes some tape measures might not have the 16ths. Now, they usually come down to the 16ths, and they may have 30 seconds up to about, a couple of inches. But 8ths and 16ths is usually the smallest fraction I'll bring it down to as best I can, because that's what I read on a tape measure.
Yeah, makes sense.
Sometimes these fractions, when we convert, they get pretty close, and this is why a lot of people that do cabinet making, even when it comes to concrete stuff, when I was doing masonry, we did all metric, because metric can get a little bit more precise than trying to round these fractions, right? Like choosing between doing 8ths or 16ths, there might be, and now it might just be absolutely marginal. But if I had to get something dead nuts accurate, as they say, dead nuts accurate, yeah, mils and centimeters or metric is more precise.
Yeah, because inches is bigger, right?
And because a lot of times we don't play around with the smaller increments, it's sometimes hard. Because sometimes if I'm converting these fractions down a little lower. I might be rounding, but technically a measurement might end up somewhere, instead of being 3/8, it might end up somewhere in here. Like those minute fractions. Like getting into, Gary, you used an example. Something that's very, like in engineering and stuff like that, they want it super ass precise. And using imperial gets you close, but it's not as accurate as metric can be. Right? Like my husband Pat, in our shop here at home in the garage, he very rarely will use the imperial tape measures anymore because of the stuff that he's doing out there. He wants accuracy, so he tends to use a metric, right? Because you can get them down a little bit finer. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, good. Thought I might have screwed you guys up a wee bit there. How about we'll do one more of these, and we'll move on to our next stuff. Actually, I want two more. Let's do this one. We'll do number 9. What time do we got? Oh, okay. So number 9 said 0.91255 feet. Right? And now we've got to turn this into something we can read on a tape measure. Well, right away, it's telling me we don't have any full feet. So I'm going to throw that in there for a quick sec. All right, so now I'm working on this decimal foot into inches. So I'm going to type in 0.91255. Feet to inches is times 12. And we get 10 inches, 10.9506. So 10 full inches, right? And I'm going to just get rid of that full 10 out of there and leave the 9506, so minus 10. And I need to change this into a fraction. All right? We've been doing 8s. I'm going to go for the 16th here. Okay, so I need to turn that into a fraction. I'm choosing 16th because it's the smallest thing I'll find on a tape measure. So 0.9506 times 16. So I know that's going to be the denominator I'm working with. Equals 15.209. So 0.2 doesn't change this 15. Do you guys understand about rounding? Okay.
Yeah, if it's under 5, then
it stays the same. Yeah, you got it. 5.
The same, and if it's 5, then it's higher, right?
Yes.
The next one over.
Exactly. So 5 or more, we bump this number up to the next number. 4.
I just zoned out a bit. You see, after you got the 0 feet, and then you got the dash, the 10.
Okay.
Right. So then you chose the 16.
Yep.
So then what did you do after that? What did you multiply?
Okay.
You multiplied.
Yeah, here, I'll show you. So you can still see that thing there. I just want to make sure you can see the calculator okay. Okay, so, again, you already knew that part, 0 whole feet.
Yeah, 0 feet. Yeah,
okay.
0 whole feet.
Yep, so now I'm taking that 0.91255 because it's decimal feet and I got to change it into inches. So remember, feet to inches, we multiply. Yep. So times 12, yep. And there's where I get that 10 inches. So 10.9506. The whole number.
And you deleted. And then that 10 is the whole number of the inches, right?
Exactly. So that 10 is that 10 right there. And then just to save myself time on my calculator, I usually just get rid of the whole number. So minus the 10.
10.
That's just how I was taught with my instructor when I went through. It's just a time saver so that you don't have to write everything down. Right? So now I got...
So right now you're here, you chose the 16th instead of the 8th. Right?
Yep.
So now how did you get that 15 at the top?
Okay, so I got that 0.9506. And I chose the 16th. So I would just then times that by 16. And I get the 15.2.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So if I was to, what was that number again? Damn it, 91. This is why I got to write some stuff down sometimes. 0.9.
It's 91255?
Yeah, so times 12 minus the 10. Okay, so I'm left with that decimal fraction. So I chose to use the 16th. Let's see what happens if I do choose 8. So 8 as my denominator I wanted to try, right? Let me just throw that there. Bloop. So 0.9506 times 8. Okay, so we get 7.6. That's higher than 5, so it changes that 7 into an 8. But here's where I'm saying about sometimes it's not as accurate, because by timesing it by 8, I essentially just got a whole inch. 8 over 8 is 1 inch. It's not as accurate as saying 15/16.
Right. And it kind of makes sense too, because you already in the first one, you already rounded it. So from rounding it, you're already pushing it for it to not be, you're just trying to get to the biggest number or the closest whole, right?
I think you're on the right path. Yeah.
I don't think I'm saying the right words though.
Right, but I think you're understanding what's happening. The 16th, by choosing 16, it's the lowest one on my tape measure. And if it didn't work, it would bounce us into the next fraction that's usable. Right? So 15/16 is almost an inch. That's right here. This one right here. So they're showing you this one just because you can't see all the tickies here. Right? So they've got this one into 8s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8s. 16 splits an inch into 16 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16/16 is 1 whole.
Oh, that's why we got that.
Yeah. Just like 8/8 is 1 whole. But if I was doing something cabinetry wise and I needed, like that 16th can sometimes really throw off a measurement when you're cutting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that can, like, if you have like a cabinet door, that could be that little piece that doesn't make it close fully.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I'm saying about how metric is a little more precise, because you can get these down into like some really fine measurements, right? You wouldn't be kind of dealing with wondering about this fairly hefty discrepancy. Right? If you look on a tape measure, that 1/6, just like you're saying, Poku, could cause a door to close right or get stuck. Right?
That's right.
Good. I haven't completely screwed anybody's head just yet. Just partially. Well, when we take a break, I'm going to bring the tape measure up and hopefully work on some of that. And maybe I work on measurement and conversion. That might be better than the ratio and proportion. Yeah, I might work on that actually. Let's see. Was there one more I wanted to try? Hang on. Decimal feet conversion. How tonight is nominations. What? Hold on. I'm going to put this video on pause for 1 sec, guys. Back into taping. Okay, so that one was number 9. Let's do number 10 real quick. So number 10, and I might actually go into the pen and the red. So number 10 read like this. 12.875 inches. Ooh. Okay, and we got to get that into a mix. Okay, so that's the decimal inch. Did anybody do this one at all?
Yep.
Okay. What'd you get, Mike?
I got 12 feet, 10.5 inches.
12 feet, 10.5. Okay, something didn't go right there. You got the 12 feet. Or no, not 12 feet. So notice this here, and this makes a big difference. And that's why you kind of heard me go, oh, this isn't in decimal feet. This is in decimal inches, as they wrote here.
Oh.
Right? That's why, and this is something...
Oh, so the two ticks is for inches.
Pardon me?
The 2 small ticks means inches, and the 1 is for the feet.
Yes, I apologize, guys. That's my bad. I just assumed. I'm so sorry. So yes, 2 little tickies means inches. That's my bad. I'm glad you said something. And then 1 means feet. And that's why you guys seen some of the ones I was writing up here, right? 1 foot or 0 feet, and then the tickies over here. And it's very important to keep track of that because it's very easy to kind of lose where you are, right? Because we're going to treat this a little different. So that's in decimal inches. So instead of trying to put this into a decimal foot, let's just turn this into a mixed, or into something we can read on the tape measure. So I need to read 12.875 on a tape measure. I know right away it's going to be 12 full inches. So I need to turn this 0.875 into a fraction. 875 into a fraction. So I could choose 16ths, but I'm just going to tell you, usually when I see this 5 at the end, it usually 8's the better choice. I don't know why. I really can't explain it. I'm sure there's a reason for it. It's just something I happen to know. So I'm going to times it by 8. So that'll be my denominator. And I get 7/8 inches. Right? But what if I needed to have this into feet and inches and fractions? Right? So 12 inches is 1 foot. Right? Let me see. Hang on. Let me do something real quick here. 12.875 inches to feet is divided by 12. Okay. So Did I lose anybody right here? Because I'm about to screw you up in a sec. This to this.
So you said because it's 875, you're gonna use the 8th rather than the 16th.
Yeah, and again, Poku, I wish I could explain to you why. It was told to me why. But it's just something that I've continued to remember, that when my decimals end in 5, 8 usually gets me to the lowest fraction. But if I was to try that, 0.875 times 16, yeah, okay, so there you go, hun. If I did choose the 16th, 0.875 times a 16th, meaning I want the fraction to be written like this, right? It ends up giving me 14/16, which I have to bring down anyways. Right?
7, 8.
Yeah, because 2 goes into 14 7 times, 2 goes into 16 8 times. Right? And again, it was something that I already knew. 8's going to get me there faster. But if 16th is the one that you want to go with, right, to try and get you to the lowest one right away, or to the smallest fraction. All right. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, buckle your seatbelts.
Okay.
Okay. Because I'm going to turn this decimal inch into a decimal foot. Right? So remember, inches to feet, we divide. So essentially, yeah, by 12, exactly. So if I type in, right, take this inches, put it into feet, I'm going to actually type in 12.875 inches divided by 12. I should get 1 point something. So there it is. Oh, sorry, guys. Did you see that at all? Let me do it again. So 12.875 inches. Remember, inches to feet, we divide by 12. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's 1 point something. There you go. 1.072916. So that's one full foot. Okay. And I'm going to just minus that out. I just want to get rid of the 1 for a sec. And then I want my inches out of that. So times 12, that 0 inches. Oh no, sorry. Hang on 1 sec. I got to think for a second as well. So 12.875 inches. If I turned that into decimal feet, I basically take this, divide it by 12, I get 1.072916 decimal feet. But I want to change that into something I could read on my tape measure. I can read this, right?
You have to unpause the video. Right?
Oh, just like, and I'm glad you guys said something. I just assumed you knew these tickies. But again, it's just one of those things that it's in the back of my mind already. It's like a muscle memory to me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That I'm glad then we had this one. Because, yeah, that I think helped kind of clarify some of that inches to feet. Right? And it's always 12 that we work with, transferring these two back and forth between feet and inches. Yeah, I'm not going to do conversion yet because there's more to it. And I think we'll just go on to percent, ratio, and proportion after we come back from break.
Okay.
Right. I think I might have missed putting this back on record for a small portion there, but I think it was just the talking part.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so it's about 6:30. We'll take a break